So these are the newest version of the Beats Pro. Apple did a slight refresh on these headphones in 2018, and I think a lot of people don't know that the Beats Pro has been updated. Now they didn't make any official announcements, but they did do some slight improvements to these headphones, and I'll show you here what they changed. They now come in this white box, and they have a similar unboxing experience with the Solo 3s and the Studio 3s. So if you are looking to buy the latest one, keep an eye out for the new packaging. Inside the box you get the usual Beats paperwork and an extra 3.5mm cable. Another thing that they changed is the carrying case. The usual case was it was really a string bag, and it didn't provide any real protection to the headphones. This new one is still a soft case, but it feels sturdier, more durable, and it has a zipper instead of the usual pull string. I really like how they changed this because this new carrying case provides a lot more protection compared to the old one. Open up the case and you will see the headphones, the studio cable, and a place to put the 1/4" adapter. And I think this is a great idea by Apple because on the old Beats Pro there wasn't really any place to put this 1/4" adapter, so most of the time you might end up just losing it. Now this cable is the same as before. It's still really thick and durable with that locking mechanism that goes into the headphones. The Beats Pro are only available in Infinite Black, and they also look identical to the previous models. How you can tell looking at the headphones themselves if you have the newer version is to check the right side of the headband. If you extend the right side of the headband all the way, you can see that these new versions now come with a serial number that you can verify on Apple's website. The older ones didn't have the serial number here, so this is another easy way to see that you have the latest version. It of course has the same features as the older models, such as the daisy chaining and the swivel ear cups. The only physical differences I see between the 2018 and the older models is that the previous Infinite Black version had a more pearl white Beats logo compared to this one, which just kinda looks plain white. And on top of that, the headband feels sturdier on the two sides. I'm not sure if they improved the durability here, but it does feel like it has a little bit thicker padding. Comfort is also basically the same as the old ones. They are still very heavy, and they hurt my ears after an hour or two of listening, so I always have to constantly keep adjusting the position on my ear. Also, like the old models, they are still made of metal. At least the frame is metal. I think the ear cups themselves are made of plastic. But either way, these things are built like a tank. One thing to mention though is that the sound coming from the cable, when it rubs against any kind of surface, it gets really loud and it's pretty irritating. So that's about it for the physical changes. The main change and improvement to the Beats Pro is with the sound quality. Compared to the older models, both the older Apple and Monster versions, these have a more balanced sound and a smoother sound with less harshness in the treble. Multiple people, including myself, who have owned both pairs, can tell you that they have definitely improved the sound. Music sounds very lively, the bass extends very low, and it is very punchy. Vocals and details of the song still sound pretty loud and clear. The best way I can describe it is that compared to more neutral, balanced headphones, the Beats Pro makes the sound come alive, and you feel like you are in a club or a studio. The headphones are also super easy to drive, so you can power them properly with your smartphone, or your laptop, anything. I also tried plugging this into my DAC with the amplifier, and I do notice a slight improvement to the soundstage, but nothing really that much different. Now the sound coming out of these headphones might not be an accurate representation of the music, but it does make the music sound very fun and like your body wants to move with the music. Even though the headphones have less bass than previous models, I still think that these headphones have a tad bit too much bass. It definitely does not have a even frequency response like they claim on their website. The bass is too much and it drowns out the vocals in the mids a little bit. Now because of how well the low end extends and it really hits you, it is really good bass, and the low end is like superb, but I think it's just too much. Unless you are a bass head, I would definitely recommend using an equalizer. With these headphones I EQ a little bit to lessen the bass, and I up the mid-range frequencies a little bit, and that makes these headphones much more enjoyable to listen to. So in conclusion, I still think these are really good sounding headphones, but it could have been excellent if Apple reduced the bass a lot more and, put more effort to balance the sound overall. I think your average consumer who really likes bass will find that these sound really good, but to me it's just a tad bit too much bass and the price is too high. So the big question is whether these are worth $400. I still don't think that these are worth $400, even with the improvements that they have made. I would try to find them for $250 or less, and at that price I think it would be a good buy. They are not wireless since they are aimed at studio or DJ use, but the build quality is excellent, basically the best built Beats headphones out there. I bought mine new for $230, and at that price I am pretty happy with my purchase. I got a very stylish, well-built pair of Beats headphones that sound decent enough, but they do sound really good with an equalizer applied. I really think that Apple should make a newer version of the Beats Pros. These are still the same appearance or model back in 2010 when it was still owned by Monster, and it hasn't changed. Since then they have made multiple revisions to both the Studio and the Solo line, but this model is still the same after all this time. Now they also have the Solo Pros, which I've just released, which I also heard are pretty good. So if Apple makes a newer Pro model, maybe with wireless features and a much more balanced sound, then I think that is something I would be really interested in. And a lot of maybe even critical listeners who previously didn't like Beats would have a model that they can actually use in the studio. So far these headphones I would still say are for DJ use and maybe not for the studio, unless you just want something to reference how your music would play back on bass heavy headphones. So yeah, that's the end of my review. Thanks for watching guys. I'll see you in the next video.